Hello guys, welcome back again with the power rankings of the Discord Showdown League. All the week 1 matches are over now, and yeah, I will be going over my personal power rankings. So first of all, I want to say these are my power rankings. They are totally opinionated, and if you disagree with me, just feel free to discuss with me in the comment section what you think is your top 16. And yeah, I think that's it. All the week 1 matches are now done. I will be going over the matches a bit while doing the power rankings. I must say there's one match that was a forfeit, but when I'm at the teams I will go over that. And yeah, just let's hop right into the power rankings. So at number 16 we have the Cincinnati B-Drills. So you may think, if you looked good and if you noticed from the previous power rankings, this team was not there. That's right, this team replaced the former number 16, that was Brooklyn Bayonets, coached by Monkeys. He, for some reason, I don't know the exact reason, he left this league. We didn't hear from him, and we replaced him with the Cincinnati B-Drills, coached by Mr. Mega B-Drill. And yeah, he made 3 changes to the team, and yeah, I will be going over the changes in a bit. But first, his record now is 0-1. It's not his fault, it's from the previous coach, and that was the forfeit loss the coach had to take because he was inactive. Yeah, furthermore, that's why I placed him at number 16. Not because it's 0-1 record, just because he's just a new guy. The previous team was also ranked 16, so I didn't really see a reason to move him up. So number 16, 3 changes then. He dropped his Mega Slowbro for Mega Gallade. He wanted a more offensive Mega. And in tier 5 he dropped Golub for Pharoah, and in his free agency he dropped Meloetta for Shackle. So what does this do for his team, and yeah, what are the advantages and the disadvantages of this? So first of all, yeah, his Mega Gallade has a respectable speed stat of around 110. This helps him really with his speed tiers. It's just another fast model in his team, which is always nice to have. Pharoah and Shackle gives him 2 stealth rockets instead of Golub with 1, so that's nice. Also, Shackle has access to sticky webs, which can be really nice on this team because he has a Q-Ram and an X-Cloud that can really benefit from sticky webs, so that's really nice. Also, a fun fact with Mega Gallade can be your cleric. It learns moves like Wish, and I believe it even learns a move like Heal Belt, but don't quote me on that. But then there's some disadvantages he has by picking up these 3 mons and dropping the other 3. With dropping Mega Slowbro, he loses his water type, and a water type is really essential for a draft, especially like a bulky water type to just soak up hits and be there just with scalds and just support for your team. It's really nice to have, but yeah, now he misses that, so maybe he's going to fill it up, I don't know. And also, he has no Volt Switch immunity anymore because he traded away his ground type. He has really good resist, but if you can stop Volt Switch, people can just grab momentum easily on your team. And also, Golub was his spin blocker. Golub is not the best spin blocker because it's not the most bulky, but it was a spin blocker in some sorts, and he has quite some hazard stacking potential, so it may not be that nice to lose your spin blocker. And if you look at his type distributions, he has 3 resists to fighting and 4 weaknesses to it. Resists are then Mega Gallade, Tornadus, Darien and Scolipede. Not most bulky mons, but they can take the hits and can deal with fighting types to a certain extent. Then if you look at his rock weakness, he has 6 weaknesses to rock, and this is really a lot. And he has only 3 resists in Pharoah, Chestnut and Mega Gallade. They can deal with rock types, but Stealth Rocks just hurt his team so much, and Stealth only has removal is default on Scissor. So that's really something to note on this team. Yeah, and also, yeah, his only ghost immunity now is X-Cloud. So yeah, ghost types can be a bit threatening for his team. He has now with Pharoah 1 more Dragon Resist besides Scissor. That's a bit nicer. But yeah, overall I really have to see what he's going to do with his team and how this will turn out. But yeah, then over to number 15. On number 15 I have the Ariogolas Pangoros. I don't know if I pronounced right, I'm sorry in advance. But yeah, I moved him down 4 spots, as you can see. That's quite a lot, but yeah, he lost his first match with a 6-0, and that's just not a good way to start off your season. And the main reason this happened was he kind of got swept by a Slurpuff, and you can kind of say he let it happen, because what did happen, he, for instance, he brought his Weezing. Weezing was a really nice top for Belly Drum Slurpuff. It can take a hit at +6. Also, Weezing is quite a nice wall for a mon like Mega Beedrill. And so that's something that was not really great. Also, he let his Crocodile Will-O-Wisp quite early on to just get up Stealth. I don't know if that was the best course of action. And then Chansey's the Darkrai's make a nice double in Slurpuff on the expected Chansey, and Chansey just set up his rocks, and then on just sets up rocks on a Slurpuff who just belly drums up. So I'm like, why would you just go for stealth rocks on a Slurpuff when you know belly drum is an option? So that was a bit weird. So then with Drain Punch it gets all his health back from Chansey, but if the coach of the Pangoros, which is Envious, has noticed, has looked at the screen really good, and he noticed that he didn't saw any berry pop off when Slurpuff belly drummed up, and this was because Slurpuff was designed to take like a Will-O-Wisp from like a Sableye pop his Lumberry, and then in that turn set up the belly drum. So it was Lumberry and not Citrus Berry, which is more commonly run. So it didn't have the speed boost, so it could easily be revenged by one of his other monsters he brought. But yeah, what then happens is he goes into Skarmory, he thinks, oh, I can wall this. He will probably switch out, but still, I think Drain Punch is a 3-hit KO, but Iron Head with the Drain Punch recovery is not a 2-hit KO. So Slurpuff wins that war. But yeah, I think he expected a switch of something, because he doubles out from Skarmory into the Domaniton. The Domaniton just dies from the Slurpuff, then goes out into Skarmory, and indeed it loses the war to Slurpuff. And yeah, if he had to move like Roar on his Skarmory, that would have been nice to have. And other than that, then his Crocodile comes in on the really low health Slurpuff's at, and he probably thinks I don't outspeed, but he clicks Pursuit for some reason. Maybe he thinks, oh, he's going to switch, but just go for EQ, just go for damage. You know you have to kill this mob. So even if you think, oh, he outspeeds me, he kills me, just go for the damage, go for EQ. And then he goes, as his last mon, he goes out into Feraligatr. I don't know if he saw Crocodile still outsped, but he just went for Aqua Jet on the Slurpuff, and yeah, he fails to take it out, and Slurpuff just swept through his team. And I think he really didn't play great around the Slurpuff, and that's why for me he's now number 15. So I hope he will prove himself later on in the season. So on number 14 I have the Minnesota Nidoking. They stay where they were, and yeah, they lost their week 1 match with a 4-0. And yeah, he played against the Helsinki Heliolisk. Yeah, the Pangoros, I think I forgot to mention, but they played against the Dunsparce. So he played against the Heliolisks, and yeah, I think the Heliolisk just prepped better and just played overall a bit better than him. And yeah, it was just Sandslash was in, and he expected EQ, so he switched out into his Mages. And Sandslash just went for a safe knockoff to knock off any item from him, and if potential Miss Mages come in. So that was quite a risky play, and yeah, Miss Mages straight up died. This was a roll, quite a high roll, but still, his Miss Mage would have been at the low health, and Miss Mage was like the only one that with a setup Lucario that it could stop it. So overall he didn't really make any plays, and yeah, it was just an unfortunate loss for him this week. He didn't show me really anything, so I hope he will bounce back from this, and we will have to see. So over to number 13. At number 13 I have the Ducklip Typhlosions. They dropped 1 place because they also lost but just was a 1-0. It was a really close match, I have to say, but yeah, this match, I think it was a decent match, but still there were some weird plays like from both sides that I didn't really understand. Like the first thing 2 turns, the Lepers had their Machamp in, they clicked Dynamite Punch and Ferrothorn died. Then Manectric came in, had to Volt Switch because it still couldn't KO it from there, and then switching out into Ambor, who takes the Drain Punch but it gets confused, hits itself in confusion and also dies. And then and like that are the first few turns. I'm like, okay, what's happening here? This is a bandit Machamp just wrecking his team now. And then he made some nice plays, like with Guard Jump on the Mega Scissor. He goes for a safe Dragon Claw because he knows Mega Scissor probably is not going to stay and can't really do anything. And and also later on with his Azumarill on the Blastoise, Playoffs seemed so obvious and he knew that himself, so he went for Waterfall, and indeed Mega Scissor came in, so that was a nice play. So he had some plays, I must definitely say. But yeah, it was just overall he just had the game on short because I think at the end of the match it was like he could set up a Swords Dance with the Guard Jump on the Mega Scissor, who killed itself from rough skin damage from a Bullet Punch, and from there Guard Jump naturally outsped the Lapras' team. But if the Lapras had a Scarf, that would probably mean game, and indeed Chandelure was Scarfed, could kill off the Guard Jump, and then with his Q and Black after Azumarill killed the Chandelure, it could clean up the game. So that was a really narrow 1-0 loss he took. He made some plays, but still I wasn't that convinced of him. So I will hope he bounced back from this, and I think he definitely can, because it was a really small loss he took. But yeah, as I said, this match was like with both sides had some plays, but also some plays I didn't really understand. So his opponent, the Lovebauer Lapras, did win the first match, but he only gained 1 place from this. This is also something I have to say. I think everyone does the power ranking different. My power rankings are like, I take into consideration my post-draft power rankings, so what do I think of the teams combined with their week 1 performances, and that's together makes like this power ranking. So that's why maybe this guy won his week 1 match, but still is at place 12, while like at a place really high, so like place 8, there's still someone who lost their week 1 game. That's because they may showed me more, or that team is so much better in my opinion, that I think they can more easily bounce back from it. So onto the Lapras then. They, as I mentioned, they had a narrow 1-0 victory. He made some great plays, but also like to make him a Nectric, he predicted to Volt Switch right, went into the trio, but then the trio had to take a really big HP ice before it could kill Mega Manectric off with an EQ. Because now he had the bulk to take an HP ice, but if he would have taken like the Scarf the trio route, it would have outsped the Manectric, and would just it can, because it didn't get the Intimidate drop, it can still kill the Manectric in 1 hit, so he wouldn't have taken any damage. So that was like something to note in his prep. It was like his trio was designed for the Mega Manectric, but it still had to take a big HP ice, so he could made a different set that maybe worked out better, I think. And yeah, also one misplay, his Blastoise comes in on a Guard Jump, and the only 2 mons that are in the back are Azumarill and Hitmonchan, and Guard Jump is in, and he went for an Ice Beam. But Scald was just overall the better play, I think, because the chance of Guard Jump staying in was not that much. I also believe Guard Jump was not at that high of amount of health, and he could revenge it with like a Scarf Chandelure. So if he just went for Scald, he could have gotten the burn on any 3 of those mons, and also a bit more damage on like the Azumarill and the Hitmonchan. So I think Scald overall was just his best play, so I didn't really understand why you go for Ice Beam there. Yeah, and then at the end of the match he knew the Chandelure was able to revenge the Garchomp, and if the Garchomp went down, then his Q on black could finish off the Azumarill because it naturally outspeeds. So overall, yeah, a 1-0 victory, and I hope he will continue his streak and climb up the power rankings. But then over to number 11. At number 11 I have the Chicago Granbuls, and about the Chicago Granbuls, I moved them down 3 spots, but they won the week 1 match 3-0, you may think. But this was the forfeit match. He won 3-0 from the what now is the Cincinnati Beardrills because they had to take a forfeit loss. I moved in 3 places because other coaches did win their week 1 match, and they just, I think, or they lose, but they overall had a better team. So I put them higher up on this rankings. And yeah, I don't have much to say about the Granbuls because I haven't seen them play yet. So I will definitely look forward to it. And yeah, this, if he wins his next week, he probably will climb up. If he loses, he will drop down even further probably. But we'll have to see, time may tell. But for now I can't really tell much about the Granbuls. So then, over to number 10. At number 10 we have the Macargo Tel Aviv, coached by Alpha Choras. So he moved down 5 spots, and that's quite a lot. He also made 1 free agency, so I'll also go over that. But first let me go over the match, because he lost 4-0, and yeah, it was like a bit of, yeah, was it hard to watch? Not really. It was more like some interesting sets, but also some weird things, and it was just, I think overall his opponent prepped just better, and he just didn't make the plays to come back in the match. I think that was the case, because he brought like a Subcom Mind Bronzong, and that's definitely an interesting set. I think maybe another set would have been better, like if you just fear the Vaporeon or the Crest on your opponent's team, because he played the Bayern Munchlax, coached by Megalugia, and if you fear them, maybe you could like run a trick set on your Bronzong, so you trick like a Scarf into them, and then they are always locked into one move. But yeah, Subcom Mind definitely interesting. It could beat the Vaporeon one-on-one, because after some, I think after like one Calm Mind it couldn't break the sub anymore, and you could just Calm Mind up. But yeah, he had Shadow Ball as his last move, and he could beat Vaporeon or Crest, but it would like take 100 turns or so, and his opponent could kinda switch out. So it's definitely an interesting set. It did work for a bit, but I don't think it was the best set to bring. And also one thing to note about this, yeah, I was gonna say, I was looking for this moment where I want to talk about those Togekiss. Like his opponent managed to Shell Smash and Baton Pass into the Hexorus, which is always quite scary, but Alpha made the right play into Togekiss on the expected EQ, because I don't know which one was on, but it was weak to EQ, probably the Bronzong. And then you think, okay, Poison Jab just takes out the Togekiss and that may just be GG. But no, he has the Cabia Berry, which reduces the poison damage, and he takes the hit, which is really nice. But the problem here was he had the Poison Berry, and this was probably designed mainly for the Hexorus, but he didn't have Dazzling Gleam, or he didn't went for it. I think if he had it, he definitely should have went for it, because Dazzling Gleam OHKO'd the Hexorus. So why would you pack that berry just to take a hit from Hexorus, but then not be able to kill Hexorus? So that's like a weird combination to have. But luckily he had his Hippowdon in the back, which could scare out the Hexorus, so he didn't get swept by it. And yeah, overall, in the rest of the match, yeah, he just his opponent just played better, I think. And yeah, his Mega Charge at X didn't really came into play, and I think it had definitely some potential of setting up. But yeah, he just let it go to sleep by a Yawn or Vaporeon, and I didn't think he utilized Mega Charge at X's potential to its full extent in this match. So I'll definitely look forward to what he has to offer in the future. But for now, he's my number 10. So on to number 9. we have the Miami Infinapes. And yeah, they also moved down quite some places. They moved 4 places down, also because, oh, this is a mistake. He lost his week 1 match with a 4-0 and he didn't win. So I will change that after, but just that you know, he lost his week 1 match. And yeah, the problem with his team is, yeah, he's quite an offensive team and this can be really scary for his opponent. But also the main problem is if he goes up against a more defensive team, how does he fare? Or just a balanced squad that can take some hits from his team. And that was this week really the case, because he played the Houndoom Hercules, which has quite a bulky team and also has quite a matchup against him. And yeah, just the bulk from the Hercules was just too much for the Infinapes, and that's why he really lost 4-0. Yeah, a few things. Ditto was a good bring for him because Volcarona looked quite scary for his team, and Ditto had then the potential to like reverse sweep, as Ditto is known for. Yeah. Also, yeah, he just played around some months a bit iffy, because like with Mew he really predicted the Weavile switch in and that didn't happen, and that almost costed him his Mew later on. Mew got Sludge Bomb poisoned, which put it on a timer. His Infinite got Iron Head crit, so that really helped whittle down those monsters. That was a bit unfortunate. And with the life of recall from Infinite and Mew, they died quite early. And then Sceptile had SD, which was a really nice bring on him, but just due to Toxic, the Blissey could get off. Sceptile just died from toxic damage in the end. Also the Staraptor was just hardwalled by Doublade, couldn't do much this week. And yeah, Everluck, I don't know why he at a certain point went for Roar. I don't really know why, but he got in the Latios, like the worst possible option he got, and that used Draco Meteor and just straight up killed him. So that was unfortunate. And yeah, in the end he just the Doublade could just clean up, and the bulk was just too much. He could at the end with Ditto, because Ditto was his last mon, and it was disguised as a Doublade. Like Iron Head was the move that hit most of his opponent's team, but if he just went for a Shadow Sneak, he could have killed the real Doublade maybe and made it a trio, but he didn't have any chance of winning them. And with Iron Head he may have this really slim potential. But yeah, overall he took quite a big loss, and I hope he bounced back from it, but yeah, we will have to see how it pays out. And then I think, yeah, I will just go back to the Tel Aviv, because I said I would also discuss the free agency and what the influences are for their teams, but I kind of forgot to do this with his team. He picked up Skuntank and he dropped Registeel, and I think this is really nice because he already had the Bronzong, and Bronzong and Registeel kind of have similar functions, and this Skuntank really gave him some nice options, because Skuntank also learns Defog, so he now has an extra hazard removal besides the Tokus and the Cloyster, which on a Mega Charge at X team is always nice to have. Also Skuntank is a nice Pursuit Trapper, also has some priority in Sucker Punch. His priority was not that strong, and yeah, he didn't had a Pursuit Trapper yet, so that's really nice. Also it gave him a Dark Resist, it gave him a Ghost Resist. The only thing is that he now only has one Fairy Resist left in Bronzong, and also Registeel was a nice Ice and Rock Resist, but he's not too weak to those types. So that's like the advantage of Skuntank. I really like this pickup, I must say. So then on to number 8. At number 8 we have the Dark Void Dunsparce, coached by Darkrai Slayer. And yeah, he won. He was the guy who 6-0 swept the Pangoros. And yeah, overall, yeah, there was not really much to say about this match. He just did win in a big fashion. He made a nice double into Slurpuff just on the chances, so he knew he could set up on it. And other than that, he didn't really make any plays. Slurpuff just carried his team for him. So yeah, not much to say about that. He did make one free agency, and I think also this is quite a good free agency for him because he dropped his Hawlucha for Mandibus, and he already had a strong fighting type with Mienshao, and I think Mandibus is really nice because Mandibus gives him default, so he now has an extra hazard removal option besides the Claydol, which is nice. Also Mandibus can learn knockoff, which is always a nice move to have, and Mandibus is just really a bulky mon, and his team kinda lacked some bulk, so that's nice. It also gave him a ghost resist. So I think overall Mandibus is quite a nice mon to have for his team. So on to number 7. At number 7 I have the Bayern Munchlax, and they gained the most spots this week because I previously had them at number 15, but he just impressed me with his win this week. And overall I thought most of the guys that lost just lost in that fashion that I think he just outperformed them and deserved this 7th place. So yeah, about his match, I had to say, he had a strong showing. Make Charizard X looked quite scary for his team, but for Boyan carried Yang, which was a great option to have for him, because that just scared him out. If he just set up a TD on the Yan, he just is now, okay, I can get one hit off, but then I go to sleep, or I have to switch out. So Yan for Boyan was really a nice bring. The only thing is I don't know if Yan goes through substitute. I believe if you set up a sub, if you are behind a sub, then Yan doesn't work. So I think like a sub variant of Charizard X could have been a bit scary for his team, but his opponent didn't bring it. And overall he played nice. He managed to Shell Smash pass into Hexorus. He didn't quite get the sweep, but it took down the Togekiss, and it was just overall really scary. And also he finished off the match with Gorbis just spamming Scald at the last few turns. And overall also his Mega Lopunny took some damage and killed some mons, but he was able to Healing Wish it back up with Jirachi, which also really nice prep for him. And yeah, overall he played a nice match. He made a nice double with Borean to Mega Lopunny on the expected Bronzong to be able to kill it, and yeah, it was a strong showing, a strong 4-0, that's why he's number 7. So at number 6 we now have the Houndoom Hercules. They also gained quite a few places. That's also because they had a convincing win for me, and they also won 4-0. They won from the Infinapes, Munchlax won from Macargo Tel Aviv, and yeah, his bulk just carried him through this match. I think that's like the main thing, because yeah, Doublet was just the hard wall for the Staraptor, and he could just scout in the beginning with Mega Venus on the Mew what kind of set it was, and yeah, overall he really played nice with his bulk, and yeah, he managed to play around the SD Scepter really well with like first toxing it with the Blissey, then go into Axie, which can take a hit, U-turn out for more damage, and then it dies to toxic damage. So that was a scary threat he played around. And his bulky mons just did the rest. He also made one free agency, which is also quite a nice free agency, because previously he lacked a water type, and he now picked up Alomomola, and that's nice because you have a water type. The only thing with Alomomola, and I think everyone says it, but you can still use it to some extent, and if you know how to use it, it's great, but you have to consider that you may be set up for certain mons, and you have to really play around that fact. Yeah, other than that, the mon he dropped for Alomomola, that was his Moltres. So that's the only thing to note now is if you look at his Earthquake switch-ins, he has 2 levitate users in Axie and Latios, but Mold Break EQ really hurts his team. so he really has to look out for mons like Extra Drill and Hexerus, because he lost his flying type. That's the only disadvantage of this trait I could really see. And then on to number 5. At number 5 we have our previously number 1, the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills took also a loss. The first week they lost 3-0. 3-0 is maybe a bit more convincing, looks a bit more convincing than it was. Will did upload his side of the match, so I will leave that down in the comment section. I will leave that down in the description. If you haven't already checked this out, I probably think you will, because yeah, this is Will Makadi. He's a lot more popular than I am. And yeah, it was just he played really safe, and I watched his video and he had a really cool Zorak set that could really put in work, but overall he was just scared of Stealth Rocks for his Talonflame, and he brought the Latias instead, and that really ended up hurting him. And also yeah, the Ambors just made some nice plays, and that really put them up. He had definitely an interesting Gardevoir set with Pain Split, Calm Mind, and then Hyper Voice and Psyshock, I think, which is really nice because it could kind of beat the Aromatisse, who also carried the Calm Mind. And yeah, he also made a nice double on the Cryogonal, who goes to Rhydon, expecting because the Talonflame was in, and he goes to Shaman, who just got a kill at that point in time with Seed Flare. Gothitelle faced Milotic then became a really big stalwart, but good prep from Will was that he packed Haze, so Gothitelle couldn't really set up all over his Milotic, and eventually he managed to, it was kind of PP stalling, but Milotic was able to come out on top. And then he thought his opponent may overpredict, so he just Brave Bird again with Talonflame, because last time he doubled into Shaman, but he stayed in with Rhydon. Then Shaman had to come in, take a hit, also safe play, goes for Street Flare. I'm sorry about it, I thought my cold was over, but just I cough, just have a bit of a rough cough still. And yeah, just and then he had to play safe with Shaman, Seed Flare, as Northern could come in, take the hit, and just kill off the Shaman. This really, it was the beginning of the end, like, because then Scarf Cryogonal could clean up the game, because it did crit the Talonflame. This was still a roll. I don't know in which favor it was, but I think with the mons in the back of the Ambors who we faced, the Ambors would still come out on top. So yeah, it was a 3-0 loss, but I think he definitely will bounce back, and that's why he's still at number 5 for me. So at number 4 we have the Alamania Archon, and they just stayed at number 4. They also took a loss, but they took a really small loss. They lost only 1-0 in, I think, what was the best match of the first week. And yeah, it was just it was against the Aerial Aces, and yeah, the Archon coached by Tapir. He just made some strong showings, like he lead off with Extra Drill on the TNC. On the Expected Protect he set up his rocks because he has Mold Breaker, so it goes through Magic Bounce, which is really nice. He then SDs on the Gliscor, predicting it not to go for EQ, which it didn't, just can do some big damage then to the Gliscor. And like he packed a move like Surf on his Telestand. You may think, why Surf? But Surf is quite nice against his opponent's team, because the opponent's team had like Blaziken and Gliscor, and you both can't really be Scald Burn because Gliscor had Toxic Orb, so it toxics itself, and Surf does slightly more damage, so that's nice. He also had Magic Coat on his Jellicent. That's like a double-edged sword. You can bounce back a Toxic, but then probably the next turn they also again go for Toxic, which you can then switch out. But yeah, it can work, but I don't think if it was the best option. Yeah, then overall, just an unfortunate thing, he missed the Will-O-Wisp on the Crawdaunt. He kinda has to sack the Whimsicott to kill it because it took big damage then. And yeah, overall it was a great match. Also, one play I also really liked was at a certain point the aerial aces went into Starmie and Tapi went into Drudigon, and probably Starmie was like, okay, can't really touch his Drudigon because I don't back Ice Beam, not the offensive variant. I switch out, but then the Drudigon reveals Pursuit and just straight up kills the Starmie, which was a really nice play by Tapi. And also really interesting set he brought was a Sub Salakberry Keldeo, and yeah, that almost swept the aerial aces, but almost swept Cytos, but Thunderous was luckily for him able to live a hit and kill the Keldeo. And yeah, overall it was like it came down to the last turn, which had Mega DNC versus Snorlax, and if Snorlax backed like a steel move like Heavy Slam, the Archon would win. But if he didn't and he only had EQ as strongest move to hit the Mega DNC, the Cytos with the aerial aces would win. And yeah, overall he didn't pack the Heavy Slam. He had he probably needed all the coverage, and he thought EQ still hits DNC quite hard. But overall he just had the short end of the stick and he lost in a 1-0 in a really close game. A really great game, and I definitely think he will bounce back because he had a really strong showing in my opinion despite his loss. So then over to number 3. On number 3 we have the Helsinki Heliolisk, coached by Mike. He won 4-0 against the Nidokings, and yeah, he just also had a strong showing. Yeah, he brought the right, almost the right Lucario set. I think he had a nasty plot variant, which was really scary for his opponent's team, especially when his mages went down, because his mages outspeeds and is immune to the priority. But yeah, he didn't pack Flash Cannon on set, I believe, so he couldn't quite kill the Togetic, so he could not really set up early with it. So that was the only thing that was a bit unfortunate. He had a Scarf Rotom Wash, which was a really great bring, and this really hurts his opponent, and at the end that was also able to clean up the game, and it backed Trick, so if Slowbro became a bit scary with setting up Calm Minds, then he could trick the Scarf into it and just neutralize the threat. And yeah, overall he played the Sand Flash right, he packed the Super Fang on it, so just to get it from Animon 50% of health, which is always nice. He had an AV Victini. It was a bit of a stalwart between that and Togetic, because he didn't really want to switch out, and he didn't pack Thunder. Thunder gets an accuracy boost due to Victory Star from Victini, but still not 100% accuracy, but I think it's the better option over T-Ball on a Victini. And yeah, overall he just played a nice game and he won in a 4-0 fashion. And he also made one free agency. He dropped his Kecleon for Berkeley. With Kecleon dropped, he loses some nice priority options and a Stealth Rocker, but he still has great Stealth Rockers in Clefable, Sandslash and Polion. And also he has still great priority with Hitmonlee and Lucario, and Berkeley gives him a Defiant Juicer, so he can like stop Defog. If he switches into Berkeley, gets that +2 attack boost. But overall I really have to see, and I'm really curious how Berkeley will turn out. I've used it for a couple of weeks myself, never brought it. There were some occasions I thought I may bring it, but other mons just looked better for the match, so I ended up not bringing it. So I really hope he will bring it, but time may tell. So then, on to our number 2. We're really getting close now. The Heliolisk dropped one place, but that's only because the first 2 guys are just had a bigger win over like what I thought were better opponents. And on number 2 we have then the Vilnius Aerial Aces, coached by Cytos. He climbed one place, he won that really close game in a 1-0 fashion. And yeah, on that match he just played his game, and in the end he was able to win. Some plays he made that were a bit iffy was like with Metagross was in on a Whimsicott, and Metagross backed Bullet Punch. Whimsicott was really low and couldn't switch into Stealthworks anymore, and Stealthworks were up, and he kind of over predicted and went for Zenith Bud, and he took a big Shadow Ball from the Whimsicott in return. What he could have done and what he should have done was just go for the safe Bullet Punch. Even if he switched, Whimsicott would die to rocks later on, and that was overall his best play, I think, and it would have left this Metagross with quite some health left. Also, later on, Thunderous T-Wave to Druddigon, which was like the only option he has because he knew he couldn't kill it in one hit, and then he Nasty Plot up, and he kind of banked on the full paralyze because that was the only way to for certain win at that point, because he needed the Nasty Plot to be able to kill what was probably an Assault Vest Snorlax in the back. So I think that was just overall his best play. It may sound like you go over Paralysis to win the game, but it was like his only way to for sure win that game. So I think he went for his best chance, and he knew it was high risk, so it was like high risk, high reward. And Druddigon broke through, killed his Thunderous, but in the end he was able to clean up because Snorlax didn't pack a Steel type move. Also, he made one transaction. He dropped his Sableye for Dragalge, and I think this is overall a great trade because it gives him an Electric resist and it gives him a Water resist. It also gives him an extra Ground resist, which Ground types may be a bit scary for his team because his immunities are Thunderous and Gliscor, who are both weak to Ice. And also this gave him a really strong Dragon type, a type he lacked, and also could pack T-Spikes, a really scary moment Dragalge is. The only thing Sableye gave him was a spin blocker, so he now doesn't have a spin blocker anymore. He now has T-Spikes and rocks and no spin blocker. That may hurt him, but I think overall Dragalge was just a great pickup for his team. So then on to number 1, and if you guys know all the 16 teams, you know which is number 1. And that is the New England Ambush, coached by Tepig, who is a cute Tepig. Nice name. He won his first match with a trio from the Buffalo Bills, coached by Will, and he just had a strong showing in my opinion, and that's why he climbed 6 places all the way to the top, because he just beat a great opponent. And in his match he early on made a great double, expecting the Nidoqueen to come in, and he went into his Gothitelle to trap the Nidoqueen, and it could take it out in 2 hits. He took a bit of damage from it, but still he took out a threat to his team really early on. And Scarf Cryogonal was really a great bring on his team. The opponent didn't have much for like Ice Beam or Freeze Dry respectively. He brought Rhydon, which was a great check to Talonflame this match. And Calm Mind Aromatisse was also a nice bring because it could kind of beat the Mega Gardevoir if it wasn't a Pain Split Calm Mind variant. And he overall brought a great team, and he just played a nice match in my opinion, and that's why he came out with a 3-0 victory with his Scarf Cryogonal at the end. So that's I think everything I wanted to say about the power rankings. So I'm looking forward to the week 2 matches, and I will next week I will bring you my week 2 power rankings. And until then, bye guys.